Hi, everybody. It's good to be here again. For those who do not know me yet, I'm Matthias. I run a little venture capital fund focusing specifically on the energy sector. And what we do is simple. We back the best entrepreneurs in our sector, and we really help them to build great companies. And just when I came here, I realized again that I really do like my job. It's a privileged role to be venture capitalist because, for many reasons, but I think the main reason being that you're always surrounded by great ideas and by the brightest people trying to put those ideas into practice. I think in our case, and in all our case, it's even better because it's usually for the benefit of a greener and cleaner planet. And so that's great. I mean, it's certainly energizing. It's a great privilege. However, there's one drawback with the venture capital day job. And there's one potential for frustration that's quite relevant, right? So we talk to 1,000 people, 1,000 great people, and we invest in one. And that's certainly not satisfying. I mean, we have to do it because we very carefully deploy our money. We take risks, but in a controlled, careful way. But still, it's frustrating. You leave 999 alone. And that's where it kind of comes in handy being a corporate-backed venture capital fund, because there's an additional benefit we can bring to the startup ecosystem. That's, I mean, while we're still doing the same controlled and careful venture investing, 1 or 2 or 3 out of 1,000, we connect hundreds of startups to the existing incumbent part of the industry. In our case, to Statkraft, our shareholder, and also to other energy firms that we are friendly with. So that's what we do, and it's great. I think that the times are right for this. Right? If you look around here, you see that this sector is changing so drastically that's really incredible speed. And I think it can be puzzling, it can be confusing, but that's what a venture capital fund is there for. Basically, we are a machine to find signal in all that noise for the benefit of investing, but also for the benefit of matching startups with large corporates. So I'll just give you a little example, because what we do is always center around great entrepreneurs. So we back the best entrepreneurs, that's our claim. And I think there's one example that kind of shows the ups and downs of that kind of journey. And it's a company that we recently sold, and it's maybe interesting to see how the journey went, right? So it's a company called LimeJump, and you might have met their CEO. It's a great CEO, a great founder. But how we initially found them is actually a good example how technology focus helps. So my colleague Alex, who's here, I would say he's an energy nerd, so he really looked up the national grid, the UK network operator tender list, and see who's winning the tenders. And you need to be an engineer to kind of find that an interesting way to source deals. And he did, and he found them, and we saw they are really seem to be a good firm. And then we first met the founders, actually on a train ride on the DLR in London. But anyway, he's a quite convincing person. If you know him, you know what I mean. And he's deeply involved in his sector. He's a 100% honest person, which will be important later in the story. And so you're always convinced. So we liked him immediately, but he did not like us. And not because we're bad people, I mean, I hope not. But I mean, for the fact that we need to explain what we do. We're a corporate-backed fund, and what Eric and LimeJump did is a direct competition to what Statkraft is doing in the UK market. So he had concerns that we might not be a 100% honest advocate for his purpose as opposed to our own shareholders. And it took us a lot of convincing, and I think finally we got there. We convinced him that we are not conflicted, that we really focus only on the startup success and only that. And that also later got reflected in the rather strict shareholder agreements on that matter. So then it helped. Alex has, again, been in the energy sector for 10 years, and he could do all the reference calls like on a kind of conversational forum with lots of people that could be LimeJump customers. And it really helped us to understand the deal well and do a deep due diligence. And also we involved Statkraft at times when it was okay for the founders to do so, and it was actually quite fruitful relationship. And then we closed the deals in, I think, middle of 2017. And then that's kind of the first part of the journey. And then kind of the collaboration starts, right? And I think if you look at that graph, it looks like a straight line up. And I'd like to say it is, but it's not. So it's always ups and downs. And that's where it really matters that you have a trustful relationship between the founders team and the investors. And so there's a lot of things that happened that went well, and at the end it ended very well, to be honest. But it also goes to say that you have to have a close collaboration. You have to work on issues. You have to improve. You have to help the CEO build the great company. And at the end, just earlier this year, we found a new shareholder. So Shell, as one of the, I'd say, more progressive oil and gas majors, really committed to renewable energy. We actually saw that this is probably the best new shareholder for what LimeJump is up to, right? With a bit bigger balance sheet that any venture capital investor could ever have. And then also we know like when our time is up. And I think in that case it was a very good journey and quite a successful one for us. But I think under that new ownership, LimeJump will have a great future. It's just one example I wanted to bring. And I think we'll see many more of those examples in the next couple of years. I mean, from this group and in the general environment we're in. So I think it's exciting times for all of us to start startups, to fund them, and to really connect them also well to the existing part of the ecosystem. Thank you.
Did you know that LimeJump pitched for the first time at Ecosummit London 2014?
I guess so. I guess every good startup does.
This was even before your company was founded, right? The fund.
Yeah.
You started in 2015,
yes.
Yeah. Great, but a really nice exit, because exits is what every VC needs.